Hello everyone! Welcome back to English Listening and Speaking channel. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more videos every day.
A weekend trip with my best friend. Easy English story for beginners. English listening practice. Hello, and welcome to our English learning story. Today, we are going to listen to a simple and enjoyable English story called A Weekend Trip with My Best Friend. This story is about a young woman named Emma and her best friend, Sophie. They are both very busy with work and daily life. One Friday, they decide to take a short weekend trip together. They want to leave the busy city behind, enjoy nature, try delicious food, and spend some time together. But their weekend trip does not go exactly as planned. They miss a bus, get a little lost, experience bad weather, and face a few unexpected problems. However, they learn that sometimes the best memories come from unexpected moments. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this easy English story. My name is Emma. I am 26 years old. I live in a busy city and work at a small marketing company. I usually like my job. My coworkers are friendly and my manager is helpful. But sometimes my work can be very stressful. I often have many emails to answer. I have meetings almost every day. Sometimes I work late. By Friday evening, I am usually very tired. One Friday afternoon, I was sitting at my desk. I looked at my computer screen. I had been working all day. I looked at the clock. It was 4:30. Only 30 minutes until the end of the workday. I was thinking about the weekend. I wanted to relax. I wanted to sleep late. I wanted to forget about work. Then my phone rang. It was my best friend, Sophie. I answered the phone. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Emma. Are you busy? No, I'm almost finished with work. Good. I have an idea. What kind of idea? Let's go on a trip this weekend. I was surprised. A trip? Yes, a short weekend trip. I smiled. That sounds great. Sophie and I had been best friends for many years. We often talked about taking a trip together, but we were always busy. One of us had work, the other had something else to do. So we never made a plan until that Friday. Where should we go? I asked. I don't know, Sophie said. Maybe somewhere quiet. Somewhere outside the city? Exactly. I thought about it. I was excited. Okay, let's do it. After work, Sophie and I met at a small coffee shop near my office. We sat at a table by the window. I ordered a coffee. Sophie ordered tea. Then we started looking at places on our phones. We wanted to visit a small town near the mountains. The town was about 3 hours away by bus. It was famous for beautiful views, fresh air, and a large lake. There were also many small restaurants and cafes. It looks beautiful, I said. Yes, Sophie replied. Let's go there. We checked the bus schedule. There was a bus at 7:30 on Saturday morning. The next bus was at 10. We wanted to arrive early, so we decided to take the 7:30 bus. We need to wake up early, I said. I know. Very early. Sophie laughed. It's okay. We can sleep on the bus. We bought our bus tickets online. Then we booked a small hotel near the lake. The hotel had a good price and excellent reviews. After that, we made a simple plan. On Saturday, we would travel to the town. We would check into the hotel, then we would explore the town and visit the lake. On Sunday, we would have breakfast at a local cafe. Then we would go hiking in the mountains. Finally, we would take the bus home in the afternoon. It sounded perfect. I was already excited. I couldn't wait for Saturday.
On Saturday morning, my alarm rang at 6 o'clock. Beep, beep, beep. I opened my eyes. For a moment, I wanted to go back to sleep. Then, I remembered the trip. I jumped out of bed. Today was the day! I quickly got dressed. I packed my clothes into a small backpack. I packed a sweater. I packed a pair of comfortable shoes. I also packed my phone charger, toothbrush, and camera. Then, I checked my bag. Everything was ready. I looked at the clock. 6:45. I had to leave soon. I grabbed my backpack and left my apartment. Outside, the morning air was cool and fresh. The city was quiet. There were not many cars on the road. I walked to the train station. Sophie was waiting for me there. She was wearing a blue jacket and carrying a small backpack. "Good morning," she said. "Good morning." "Are you excited?" "Yes!" "Me too." We smiled at each other. Then we looked at the time. 7:20. Our bus would leave in 10 minutes. We walked quickly to the bus station. When we arrived at the bus station, there were many people. We looked at the information board. We found our bus number. Then we looked for the platform. "Platform 6, I said. "Where is platform 6? "I don't know." We started looking around. We asked a worker for help. "Excuse me, where is platform 6? The worker pointed to the other side of the station. "Go straight, then turn left." "Thank you." We walked quickly. Then we walked faster. Then we started running. We could see our bus. It was waiting at the platform. "That's our bus," Sophie shouted. We ran toward it. But just as we arrived, the bus started moving. "No!" We watched the bus leave. We stood there in silence. Our bus was gone. I looked at Sophie. Sophie looked at me. Then we both started laughing. "We missed our bus," I said. "I know. What are we going to do?" Sophie checked her phone. "There is another bus at 9:30. I looked at the time. It was 7:45. We had almost 2 hours to wait. "Well," I said, "at least we have time for breakfast." Sophie smiled. "That's a good idea." We found a small cafe inside the station. We ordered breakfast. I had eggs and toast. Sophie had pancakes. We also ordered coffee. While we ate, we laughed about missing the bus. It was not part of our plan. But it was already becoming a funny memory. At 9:15, we went back to the platform. This time, we were early. Very early. We stood next to the bus. We did not want to miss it again. At 9:25, the driver opened the door. We got on the bus. We found 2 seats next to the window. Finally, we were on our way. The bus left the city. Slowly, the buildings disappeared. Then, we saw green fields. We saw small villages. We saw farms and trees. The view was beautiful. I took out my camera. I took many pictures. Sophie looked out the window. Look at that mountain! Wow! We both took pictures. The weather was sunny. The sky was blue. Everything seemed perfect. After about an hour, Sophie fell asleep. I listened to music and watched the view. I felt relaxed. For the first time in weeks, I was not thinking about work. I was not thinking about emails. I was not thinking about meetings. I was simply enjoying the journey. After 3 hours, the bus finally arrived at our destination. We had arrived. The town was smaller than I expected. There were small shops on both sides of the street. There were colorful flowers everywhere. People walked slowly. There were bicycles near the shops. The town was peaceful. "It is so quiet," Sophie said. "I like it." "Me too." We checked the address of our hotel. It was about 15 minutes from the bus station. We decided to walk. We carried our backpacks and walked through the town. We passed a bakery. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. We passed a small bookstore. We passed a flower shop. Everything looked beautiful. After 15 minutes, we found our hotel. It was a small building with a red door. We went inside. A friendly woman welcomed us. "Hello, do you have a reservation?" "Yes," I said. "What is your name?" "Emma Brown." The woman checked her computer. "Yes, I found your reservation." She gave us a key. "Your room is on the second floor." "Thank you." We went upstairs. Our room was small but comfortable. There were 2 beds. There was a small table near the window. We could see the lake from the window. "Wow," Sophie said. "Look at the view." I looked outside. The lake was beautiful. The water was blue. The mountains were behind it. I smiled. This trip was a good idea. After we put our bags in the room, we went outside. We wanted to explore the town. We walked along a quiet street. There were small cafes everywhere. We stopped at a local restaurant for lunch. The restaurant was very busy. A waiter showed us to a table. We looked at the menu. There were many interesting dishes. I ordered chicken with vegetables. Sophie ordered pasta. We also ordered 2 glasses of fruit juice. The food was delicious. "This is so good," Sophie said. I agree. We talked about our lives. We talked about work. We talked about our families. We talked about our dreams. We had known each other for many years. We could talk about anything. After lunch, we walked around the town. We visited a small market. Sophie bought a handmade bag. I bought a postcard. Then we went into a small bookstore. I found an interesting book about travel. I wanted to buy it, but I decided to save my money. Sophie laughed. "You can buy it next time." "Maybe." We continued walking. Then we saw a sign. It said, "Lake, 10 minutes." We looked at each other. "Let's go." We followed the sign. After 10 minutes, we arrived at the lake. It was beautiful. The lake was surrounded by mountains. The water was very calm. There were a few people sitting near the lake. Some people were taking pictures. Others were having a picnic. Sophie and I found a quiet place. We sat on the grass. I took out my camera. We took pictures together. Then we talked. "This is exactly what I needed," I said. "Me too." I was so tired of the city. I know. We sat quietly for a few minutes. The wind was gentle. The sun was warm. I closed my eyes. I could hear birds singing. It was peaceful. Then Sophie said, "Emma, look!" I opened my eyes. "What?" She pointed to the water. There was a small boat. It was moving slowly across the lake. "That's beautiful," I said. We watched the boat. Then the sky began to change. The sun was going down. The mountains became orange and gold. It was one of the most beautiful sunsets I had ever seen. We sat there until the sun disappeared. After sunset, we decided to return to the hotel. But there was a problem. It had started raining. At first, it was only a few drops. Then the rain became heavier. "Oh no," Sophie said. We did not have umbrellas. We started walking quickly. The rain became stronger. We ran along the road. My shoes became wet. My hair became wet. Sophie was laughing. "Why are you laughing?" I asked. "Because this is funny." "Funny?" "Yes! We missed our bus this morning, and now we're running in the rain." I started laughing too. We were completely wet. But we didn't care. We ran all the way back to the hotel. When we arrived, we looked terrible. The woman at the front desk smiled. "Did you enjoy the rain?" "Very much," Sophie said. We went upstairs. We changed our wet clothes. Then we sat on our beds. We looked at each other. "What a day," I said. "Yes. First, we missed the bus. Then we saw the lake. And now we are wet." Sophie laughed. "This is an adventure." I smiled. She was right. It was an adventure. After we dried our clothes, we went out again. The rain had stopped. The streets were wet. The lights from the shops reflected on the road. The town looked beautiful at night. We found a small restaurant. It was warm and comfortable inside. We sat near the window. We ordered soup and bread. The food was simple but delicious. We talked about our day. "What was your favorite part?" I asked. Sophie thought for a moment. "The lake." "The lake?" "Yes, it was beautiful." I smiled. My favorite part was missing the bus. Sophie looked surprised. "Really?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because we had breakfast together." We both laughed. It was true. If we had caught the first bus, we would not have had breakfast at the station. Sometimes a mistake can lead to something good. After dinner, we walked back to the hotel. We were tired, but we were happy. We went to our room. Before going to sleep, we looked at the pictures we had taken. There were many pictures of the lake. There were pictures of the mountains. There were pictures of our food. And there was one funny picture of us running in the rain. We laughed when we saw it. "This is my favorite picture," Sophie said. "Mine too." Then we turned off the lights. "Good night, Emma." Good night, Sophie. The next morning, I woke up early. The sun was shining through the window. I looked outside. The sky was blue again. The rain was gone. Sophie was still sleeping. I opened the window. Fresh air came into the room. I could hear birds singing. I quietly said, "Sophie." No answer. "Sophie." Still nothing. I walked over to her bed. "Sophie, wake up." She opened one eye. "What time is it?" 7:30. Too early. I laughed. "We have plans." She closed her eyes. "I don't want to get up." I opened the curtains. Sunlight filled the room. "Come on!" Sophie finally got out of bed. We got ready. Then we went downstairs. The hotel had a small breakfast area. We had bread, eggs, fruit, and coffee. After breakfast, we checked out of the hotel. We left our bags at the front desk. Then we went to a cafe near the lake. The cafe had a beautiful view. We ordered coffee and cake. We sat outside. The weather was perfect.
After breakfast, we decided to go hiking. There was a walking path near the lake. The path went up into the mountains. We started walking. At first, it was easy. The path was flat. We talked and laughed. Then the path became steeper. We walked more slowly. After 30 minutes, we were tired. Sophie stopped. "I need a break." "Me too." We sat on a large rock. We drank some water. I looked around. The view was amazing. We could see the entire town below us. We could see the lake. We could see the roads. Everything looked very small. "This is beautiful," I said. Sophie nodded. "I don't want to go home." "Me neither." We stayed there for a while. Then we continued walking. After another 20 minutes, we reached the top of the hill. We were tired, but we were very happy. We took pictures. We talked. We enjoyed the view. It felt like we were far away from everything. For a few hours, there was no work, no emails, no meetings, no stress. Just two best friends enjoying a beautiful day. At 2 o'clock, we walked back to the town. We picked up our bags from the hotel. Then we went to the bus station. Our bus home was at 3:30. This time, we arrived early. Very early. We did not want to miss another bus. We sat at the station and waited. Sophie looked at me. "Did you enjoy the trip?" I smiled. "Yes, very much." Even though we missed the bus? Especially because we missed the bus. She laughed. "I'm glad." Me too. The bus arrived at 3:15. We got on. We found our seats. The bus left the town. I looked out the window. The mountains slowly disappeared. Then the lake disappeared. The small town disappeared. I felt a little sad. I wanted to stay longer, but I knew we had to go home. After a few minutes, Sophie fell asleep. I looked at her. She looked tired. I smiled. I was tired too. I closed my eyes. I thought about the weekend.
We had missed a bus. We had eaten delicious food. We had walked around a beautiful town. We had watched the sunset. We had run through the rain. We had hiked in the mountains. And we had laughed a lot. It was a perfect weekend. Not because everything went perfectly, but because we enjoyed every moment together.
3 hours later, we arrived back in the city. It was Sunday evening. The city was busy again. There were cars everywhere. People were walking quickly. The streets were noisy. I looked at Sophie. We're back. Yes. I'm already tired. She laughed. Me too. We said goodbye at the bus station. See you tomorrow. See ya. I walked home. When I arrived at my apartment, I put my bag on the floor. I was exhausted, but I was happy. I opened my phone. I looked at all the pictures from our trip. I smiled. Then I sent one picture to Sophie. It was the picture of us running in the rain. I wrote, "Best weekend ever." A few seconds later, she replied, "Definitely." I put my phone down. Then I went to bed. The next morning, I had to go back to work. I had emails. I had meetings. I had a busy week ahead. But I felt different. I felt refreshed. I had spent a wonderful weekend with my best friend, and I had made memories that I would never forget. That weekend taught me something important. Sometimes we spend too much time planning everything. We want everything to be perfect. We want every bus to arrive on time. We want the weather to be perfect. We want everything to happen exactly as planned. But life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes we miss the bus. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes we get lost. Sometimes our plans change. And that's okay. The most important thing is how we react. When Sophie and I missed our bus, we could have been angry. But instead, we had breakfast together. When it started raining, we could have been upset. But instead, we laughed and ran through the rain. When we got tired during our hike, we took a break. We enjoyed the view. We didn't worry about the time. We simply enjoyed the moment. That weekend reminded me that the best memories are not always planned. Sometimes, the unexpected moments become the best stories. My weekend trip with my best friend was short. It was only 2 days, but it was one of the best weekends I had ever experienced. We missed our first bus. We explored a beautiful town. We visited a peaceful lake. We watched an amazing sunset. We ran through the rain. We ate delicious food. We hiked in the mountains. And most importantly, we spent time together. Sometimes you don't need a long vacation. You don't need to travel to another country. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Sometimes all you need is a good friend, a little free time, and a place you've never visited before. So if you have a busy life, remember to take a break sometimes. Call your best friend. Make a simple plan. Go somewhere new and enjoy the journey. Because sometimes the best part of a trip is not the destination. It is the memories you make along the way. Thank you for listening to this English story. I hope you enjoyed a weekend trip with my best friend. I also hope you learned some useful English words and expressions. Here are some useful phrases from today's story. Let's go on a trip. That sounds great. Where should we go? Let's make a plan. We missed the bus. What are we going to do? At least we have time for breakfast. We're on our way.
Look at the view. This is exactly what I needed. I don't want to go home. Did you enjoy the trip? Best weekend ever. Keep listening. Keep practicing. Keep learning English. And remember, the best memories are often made when things don't go exactly as planned. See you in the next English story.